This officer beat up a handcuffed prisoner, then claimed he was only trying to stop him from harming himself.
What's going on?
He's trying to choke himself.
It started on the 8th of August, 2024, when 29-year-old Jonesboro, Arkansas police officer Joseph Harris was transporting a man named Billy Lee Corum, a 42-year-old inmate from a local hospital, back to the Craighead County Jail. Corum had originally told jail staff he had swallowed fentanyl and was rushed to the hospital for treatment, where he then escaped. Harris caught him and put him back in the car, but he had no idea that he was stepping into the moment that would end his career.
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I've got fentanyl inside of me, and they're trying to send me back to the jail where they're going to let me die.
The hospital has released you.
I don't give a f. I'm telling you.
Okay, I don't give a f.
No, I'm saying I don't give a f what the hospital does.
Okay, cool. Well then, whatever. I don't know what else you want me to do.
Sir, will you please listen to me? I have got fentanyl inside of me. Last night, I swallowed. It's in aluminum foil, wrapped up. It's in a baggie. It's in aluminum foil, individually wrapped up in aluminum foil. I swallowed it yesterday. Look, they x-rayed me last night. The x-ray. Listen, please listen to me.
From the very first minute of the ride, Corum was desperate, pleading with Harris to take him back to the hospital, convinced he was going to die. But Harris had no interest in listening.
The x-ray machine, the screen, I could see the screen when he did the x-ray. I seen the package clearly right there. He's come in there, he said, well, we didn't find nothing inside you. I said, bullshit, I seen it on the screen myself. I said, can you bring the image in here and show it to me? He said, no. He said, I didn't send it out. So he took another one. This time they turned the screen away from me. Come back and said the same. I kept telling every nurse to come by. I was like, I got fentanyl inside, I got fentanyl inside me, I got fentanyl inside. They wouldn't listen to me. Finally, I got a doctor in there, and I made her show me the screen, and I showed it to her. They moved me to ICU. I have not went to the bathroom since. I have not went to the bathroom, period. I've got fentanyl inside of me. I've been telling everybody, and nobody's listening to me.
There were no reports from the hospital regarding the suspect's claims. Yet Harris remained cold and dismissive the entire time, offering nothing. No concern, no response, just silence and contempt. As more minutes passed, Corum grew more agitated. He accused Harris of not caring whether he lived or died, and at this point, he wasn't entirely wrong. But what Corum did next would give Harris exactly the excuse he was looking for.
On my daughter's life, I've got one daughter. She's 17 years old, and she hates my goddamn guts. On my daughter's life, and the only thing I love in this world is her. I've got fentanyl inside of me. On this camera, I've got fentanyl inside of me, so when I die in the jail, it's y'all's fault. Huh? What'd you say?
Okay.
Y'all are pieces
Trying to choke yourself?
No.
At this point, the suspect begins tightening the seatbelt around his neck, creating a dangerous situation if it continues. The officer notices this and stops the car, but instead of helping the suspect, he did something that would eventually end his career.
Now what?
Idiot. He's trying to choke himself. Out.
Harris punched and elbowed the handcuffed suspect in the face 10 times while he was choking, and only stopped to remove the seatbelt from his neck when another officer arrived. But he didn't stop there. He was about to take the assault even further. Meanwhile, a second deputy pulled up to the scene while Harris was still actively elbowing Corum in the back seat. Ditto walked up and asked Harris what was going on. Harris told him Corum had been trying to choke himself. Ditto looked into the back seat, asked Corum if he was all right, and got no response. Corum wasn't moving, but what happened next is where it gets truly unbelievable.
What's going on?
He's trying to choke himself. So out. You all right? Billy, you all right?
Dispatch, we're stopped on Willett Road. Just, let's go, yeah.
What's happening?
He was trying to choke himself out.
Hey, give me your...
We need. There he goes.
Right in front of Deputy Ditto, Harris pressed a baton hard into Corum's sternum approximately 15 times, forcing him to scream in pain and flip onto his stomach and then slam the car door directly onto Corum's head. Ditto saw every single second of it.
There he goes. All right, we got him back awake. We're right back to the jail. Have the nurse downstairs waiting on us.
Ditto simply radioed dispatch, confirming they had the suspect and were heading to the jail, and requested a nurse to be waiting downstairs. He said nothing about what he had just witnessed. Harris didn't call for medical assistance. He didn't radio it in. He simply continued driving to the jail. And in the report he filed afterward, he wrote that Corum had been transported with no further incident. That was a lie, and it would become one of the criminal charges filed against him. When the vehicles arrived at the jail's Sally Port, Ditto walked over and opened the rear door and found Corum's head physically trapped between the door and the frame from the earlier slam. Ditto freed him. The moment Corum was out of the car, he pointed at Harris and told everyone who would listen exactly what had happened. But Harris wasn't done yet.
Inside.
There's the chair.
Where's the chair? Chair!
You get your ass fired, dick sucker.
Billy, calm down, brother.
He attacked me in the back of the goddamn car.
You don't want to catch no more charges, man. You got enough.
Look at my face, man.
I know.
As deputies escorted the injured, crying Corum into the booking area toward a restraint chair, Harris stepped up and swung his fist at Corum again right over the shoulders of the other deputies who were holding him. It took Deputy Ditto and jail staff physically stepping between them to stop the second assault. Harris then pulled Ditto aside privately and tried to explain himself. He claimed he only punched Corum because of the seatbelt. He said he didn't do it out of anger.
You good?
Y'all obviously
right?
had attention,
You all right?
so I was just trying to push you out. So.
Are you hurt?
Hold on. My elbow's
He's not going over.
I know. I just... What, trying to start another?
No.
Not trying to, like, only reason I had to punch him was because he was trying to fucking choke
No, I was
himself.
talking about in here. I was
I
just
know.
talking about in here.
I know. What I'm saying is, from here to here, like, I'm not here to talk shit and rile people up. Like, I was trying to help out.
I know.
And with him coming at me, that's the only reason I pushed him in the face. Like, I
understand.
didn't do that out of fucking
I know.
anger. Or nothing.
I just wanted to come and tell
Okay.
you
Yeah, no, we're
sorry
good.
for
That's-
pushing you back because
But Ditto didn't buy it. He walked away from that conversation and went straight to his supervisor, reporting everything he had seen: the roadside beating, the door slam, and the attempted second assault inside the booking area. That report is what triggered the entire investigation. The next morning, Jonesboro Police Chief Rick Elliott reviewed the footage, and within 6 hours, Harris was called into the chief's office and fired on the spot. Elliott then contacted the FBI and formally asked the state to decertify Harris as a police officer, meaning he would never work in law enforcement again. And it didn't stop there. What investigators uncovered about Harris's history made the whole thing even worse. 2 years before this incident, Harris had been suspended for throwing a man to the ground outside a Jonesboro nightclub. 2 months before this beating, he had been named as a defendant in a wrongful death lawsuit involving another inmate who had died in the same county jail. This was not a one-time lapse. This was a pattern. In January 2025, Arkansas State Police arrested Harris. He turned himself in and was charged with felony aggravated assault, filing a false police report, and third-degree battery. He posted a $15,000 bond and walked out 40 minutes later. In November 2025, Joseph Tucker Harris stood before a judge and pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to 36 months of probation, 30 days in the Craighead County Detention Center, and 90 days of house confinement. And as part of his plea deal, he permanently surrendered his law enforcement certification never to serve as a police officer anywhere in Arkansas again. Billy Lee Corum filed a federal civil lawsuit against Harris, the city of Jonesboro, and the police chief, seeking $2 million in damages. That case is still working its way through the courts. If you enjoy crime content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as we have a lot to uncover in the future. And don't forget to check out my latest videos by clicking either of these two right here.